Democratic Congresswoman on the rise is now stepping down. Natisha Lange joins us with a story that has had social media buzzing for days. Natisha.
That's right, Aisha. California Representative Katie Hill says she is now resigning after an alleged affair with a staffer. But that's just part of the story. What led up to her decision has some people on social media asking her to reconsider that decision. Hill denies she had a sexual relationship with a campaign staffer. She did say, though, she had a consensual yet inappropriate relationship with that person. Now, despite that, many are defending Hill as a victim. She says her soon-to-be ex-husband released sexually explicit photos of her with that staffer.
Fight. I will fight to ensure that no one else has to live through what I just experienced. Some people call this electronic assault, digital exploitation. Others call it revenge porn. As the victim of it, I call it one of the worst things that we can do to our sisters and our daughters.
Hill also called her ex-husband abusive, soon-to-be ex-husband, that is. Some feel she is being held to a different standard than her male counterparts, like California Congressman Duncan Hunter, who was accused of using taxpayer money for extramarital affairs with 3 lobbyists. Now, despite pressure to resign, he has stayed in Congress. Hill is even getting support from inside the White House. Former State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert posted, "If Katie Hill was a man, she would not have resigned." And Hazel posted this, "It's upsetting we live in a world where Katie Hill becomes a victim and then is shamed into resigning from a position she is overqualified for. This sets the bar for what is acceptable for other abusers." Well, there has been no comment from Hill's estranged husband, and it seems as well that she will stick with her decision to step down, guys.
All right.